You smell that, Alex? That's the scent of a Thursday morning where the coffee is strong and the air smells like fresh cut walnut and ozone. It's April 2nd, 2026, and I'm feeling like a kid in a candy store that also happens to sell industrial grade lasers.
Careful there, Tiger. Last time you got that excited, you tried to automate the breakfast burrito station in the break room, and we're still finding bits of tinfoil in the rafters.
Look, that was a prototype phase. Innovation requires a little collateral damage. But seriously, we've got a massive show today. We're talking about AI, but not the kind that writes bad poetry. We're talking about the kind that needs a guy with a pipe wrench and a multimeter to actually exist. Plus, some Swiss-type CNC magic that makes my old manual Bridgeport look like a stone chisel.
It's a brave new world. I'm especially curious about this maker mogul stuff. Everyone's a creator now, but not everyone's actually making a living. I want to see if we can bridge that gap between cool hobby and paying the mortgage.
Let's kick it off with the heavy iron. HCL Camworks just dropped their 2026 update. Now, for the folks who aren't knee-deep in chips every day, they've basically cracked the code on Swiss-type machining synchronization.
Okay, explain Swiss type to me like I'm 5 and I just dropped my popsicle in the sawdust.
Fair enough. Traditional lathes, the part spins and the tool moves to it. In Swiss machining, the part moves back and forth through a guide bush. It's for tiny, incredibly precise parts. Think medical implants or watch gears. The new software allows the main spindles and the sub-spindles to dance together like a choreographed ballet. It used to be a nightmare to program without the tools crashing into each other like bumper cars. Now, it's seamless.
So, less expensive crunching sounds and more perfect parts on the first try?
Exactly. And speaking of precision, there's this new Optonics L's Series 2D laser, but the real kicker I saw in Modern Machine Shop is People 3D printing metal press brake tools.
Wait, back up. Printing the tools that bend the metal? Isn't the pressure involved in a press brake enough to turn a 3D print into powder?
You'd think so, right? I remember the first time I tried to use a wooden jig for a heavy bend. It splintered so fast I thought a grenade went off. Don't tell my shop teacher. But with these new metal filaments and sintering processes, small shops are printing custom profile dies overnight. You don't have to wait 6 weeks for a specialty tool and die shop to ship you a custom hunk of hardened steel. You just manifest it.
It feels like the impossible is getting a lot cheaper to do in a garage. Speaking of manifesting things, let's talk about this AI boom. You usually roll your eyes when people bring up ChatGPT, Tiger. Why is it in the TigerDen today?
Because everyone is worried about robots taking jobs, but nobody's talking about who builds the house the robot lives in. Randstad USA put out this report, and it's a goldmine for the trades. These AI data centers, they are absolute heat monsters. They require cooling systems that would make a commercial skyscraper look like a window AC unit.
So the cloud is actually just a very hot room full of wires that needs a lot of plumbers and electricians?
Pretty much, we're seeing a massive spike in demand for HVAC techs, industrial electricians, and high-end welders. If you can handle the specialized electrical grids and the massive liquid cooling loops these data centers use, you aren't just a technician anymore. You're the life support for the digital age.
It's funny, we spend all this time talking about software, but if the guy with the welding hood doesn't show up to build the frame, the AI revolution is just a bunch of expensive melted plastic.
It's the ultimate job security. If you're in the trades, look for data center operations certifications. The pay is in a different league because the cost of that equipment going down is millions per minute. To me, that's the real tech career. It's dirty fingernails and high-tier logic.
Let's pivot to the Maker Mogul Corner. Forbes is opening nominations for their top 50 creators of 2026. Tiger, do I need to start shopping for a suit, or are we sticking to the flannel for your cover shoot?
I think the world is safe from seeing me in a tuxedo. But there's a lesson here. Even if you're just selling birdhouses on the weekend, the way people buy has shifted. We're seeing that Instagram, even in 2026, is still the titan, but the polished ad is dead. People want the behind the scenes.
I've noticed that. I'm much more likely to buy a hand-turned bowl if I see the shavings flying off the gouge and the makers swearing quietly when they hit a knot.
Exactly. Authenticity isn't just a buzzword, it's a currency. I spent years trying to make my shop look perfectly clean for photos. I'd spend 3 hours sweeping just to take one picture. I realized later that people actually like the sawdust. It proves you did the work. Your process is your best marketing tool. Show the mistake, show the fix, show the greasy hands. That's what builds the trust that leads to the sale.
It's about the story, not just the product. Though I'll say your process involves a lot of talking to the wood like it's a disobedient pet. Not sure if that translates to top 50 material.
Hey, if the oak didn't want to be lectured, it should have stayed straight during the glue up.
Let's get into the weekend projects. I know a lot of people are itching to get out of the house and into the shop now that the weather is turning. What's on the menu?
Man, I've been watching Jay's Cali decking series. He's on episode 42 of this massive project. If you've ever wondered how to frame a deck so it doesn't sag like an old mattress in 5 years, you need to watch his layout process. It's structural art.
That's a bit ambitious for a Saturday morning, though. Got anything for the I have 6 hours and a bowl of cherries crowd?
You can never go wrong with the classic cutting board. I know, everyone's done one, but there's a reason for that. It's the perfect tune-up project. You're practicing your rip cuts, your glue line precision, and your sanding. If you can make a perfectly flat, seamless end grain board, you can build a dining table.
It's like the scales of the woodworking world. You have to practice the basics.
Absolutely. I remember my first one. I didn't use enough clamps, and the middle bowed up like a bridge. I tried to fix it by sanding for 4 hours. By the end, it looked like a Pringle. I ended up using it as a very expensive shim for my workbench.
A bespoke walnut shim. Very on brand for you, Tiger.
Hey, failure is just a very loud way of learning how to do it right. And if you need some inspiration to get the juices flowing, Estelle's Season 6 demos are out on YouTube. She's doing some stuff with mixed media, metal and wood, that is honestly making me want to go fire up the welder right now.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from high-speed Swiss lathes to the cooling systems of the AI future. What's the big takeaway for the maker standing in their shop right now?
I think it's this. The world is getting more digital, but it's making the physical world more valuable. Whether you're an electrician, keeping a data center cool, or a hobbyist making a cutting board, you're dealing with the real, tangible stuff that makes life work. Don't be intimidated by the tech. Use it to make your craft better, but never lose that hands-on soul.
Well said. Even the smartest AI can't feel the grain of a piece of cherry or tell when a bearing is about to go just by the sound of the motor.
Not yet anyway. Until then, it's just us, the tools, and the projects waiting to be built.
Thanks for joining us in the TigerDen today. Go make something worth talking about.
Stay hungry, stay humble, and keep building. We'll see you in the